So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. We're here with Get Tuff. We're going to ask them some questions today. I'm going to start. What inspired you to start the project, and what does the project name mean?
Oh, okay. I was sorry. That's like the standard question, right? I don't know why I was like, what? But I guess I was inspired to start the project mostly just by my like very deep and visceral love for like pop music. Like I've been a huge fan of like Taylor Swift and Lorde for as long as I can remember. And it was like, I don't know, being able to, make music while I was like on the road, like being able to do something with like fake instruments was like a lot easier for like demoing, which was a thing I used to do when I would like, write leads or whatever, and then like change them to guitar. But instead, just leaving them with those fake like synths, kind of fun. So I just kind of kept going with it. The name itself, it's kind of like I'm like poking fun at myself on that because I am like an extremely sensitive person. So I've always kind of said that it's like the antithesis of itself, where like with like the cheeky spelling or whatever, because like, there's strength in being like very sensitive and being like open about that, I think. Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay. Wow,
Is that a good enough answer?
Yeah.
That was great. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process?
See, that's always a fun one because I typically write to like process emotion, which I mean is like pretty standard for a lot of people. But a lot of times, like I'm just sitting here at this desk and just like kind of messing around with chords and stuff. And a lot of my writing actually is just kind of like a stream of consciousness, where, I'll latch on to like a phrase, or like whatever I'm thinking about, or I'll, look at something that I'd written like weeks prior or something and grab something and just kind of run with it. And it's more about like building like the fun, catchy, like pop melody around like something that feels very personal at the same time. It's kind of fun to like flip the script on that and like it be like a fun like dance track, but it's still like supposed to make you cry too.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my favorite type of music.
Me too.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
So congrats on your 2 singles. How do you feel about the response to those?
Good. To be honest, with the second one, that I didn't really like promote it very much, in light of everything happening in the world and the whole world ending, basically. And it's like I've kind of felt it wasn't my place to like take away, especially as like I and my community have been like putting work in for the movement. But still, I like had the song, so I was like, I'm gonna drop this so that maybe I can like raise some funds for different like mutual aids and bail funds that I'd been donating to. However, the first single, Ragdoll, had a way better response than I could have expected, which was like, I don't know. I was very excited because I was very scared to like put that song out because it's like, this is a song that almost breaches like 5 minutes long and it's like very like emotionally heavy. And like putting that out as like a first single can be like very daunting. But people were like very supportive and like, I don't know. I was like very pleasantly surprised. I didn't like really expect anybody to give a fuck.
All right.
Sick. They were both very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My favorite is Misery. That one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that one's super sick. I don't
And
know.
as per usual, Gloria and I are on opposite sides. I prefer Ragdoll. I don't know. It gives me like Haley Williams vibes, like Simmer. I don't know if you've heard that track.
Yes.
That's what I get.
I don't know if y'all follow my Twitter, but all of my 5x5s for the last few weeks have had Pedals for Armor on it. So it's really funny that you actually mentioned Simmer too, because I remember when that song dropped, I like already have this whole record that I'm doing, like, demoed out, whatever. But I already had Ragdoll like done when that when that song dropped. And I was like, wow, this kind of sounds like the stuff that I've been writing. That's kind of a bummer. Like Haley Williams is gonna like put out this record that's like a way cooler version of the thing that I'm doing. Like, that's kind of fucked up. And then I realized, I was like, oh, I'm a huge Paramore fan, and Haley is Haley fucking Williams. So maybe it makes sense that like my growth as an artist kind of would mirror like hers, you know, because I've been like inspired by her writing for so long, and she's been like, you know, growing alongside. And it was just kind of funny when I was like, oh, this is like, we're like meeting in the in the middle of the same place.
And I think it's really funny that you had it already written, and then she dropped something that sounded similar to it. So it's like same wavelength there.
Yeah. I was like, I honestly felt like really good to me. I was like, oh, this, like, am I like on the same trajectory then, like writing wise? Am I gonna like, I don't know, who's to say?
Drop pedals from her
can't all be
too.
Haley Williams. Hey, if I could, I would.
Yeah.
Oh Haley Williams and Get Tuff collab.
Oh my god, don't even
imagine.
That would be unreasonable.
So cool.
I don't even know what I would do. I would just lose my shit.
But like in a cool way.
Yeah.
Yo, in a very cool way. But I feel like I'd just like choke. Like okay, like Arby, time to record your stuff, and I'm like, no, you got it. It's fine.
I can't. Can you just record the entire thing for me? Just give me writing credits.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So where was your headspace while writing those singles?
As usual, pretty chaotic. Ragdoll specifically was really interesting because I like wrote and like fully demoed that song in like one day and in like 6 hours. Yeah, I had like a really early morning drive to like drop off my partner somewhere, and I like came home and I hadn't really gotten a lot of sleep, and we were like, while we were on the drive, I said something about like frigid north. This was back in like January. And I was like, that's kind of a cool, like saucy phrase. I like that. And so I kind of ran with it. And then ended up, you know, as I like kind of internalized what like that phrase meant to me, it like gave me a lot of like, you know, thoughts about like a previous like abusive relationship that I had been in, and how, you know, like certain places always like remind you of people. And something about like, you know, rural Michigan really reminds me of that person, which is where I was. So I just kind of like let it all fall out, which was like very healing. It was interesting to finally feel like removed from that situation by kind of all like putting it all into that song. And I never really thought that I'd like put it out, and I definitely didn't think it would be a single. And then as I started to like play more, everybody was just like, that song is like, that's like the one, you gotta like drop that as a single. I was just like, oh, but that's scary though. Yeah, but it was just very strange how it kind of all just like fell out of me. And I think that's like my favorite way to write, like, you know, being a person who like kind of falls on like the stream of consciousness, like improv, being able to just like get something like done and like fully written in the span of like half a day is like really affirming for that sort of process. Yeah, but Misery was an interesting one. I was thinking about the Taylor Swift song, I Forgot That You Existed. And I really liked the like rhythmic piano line in that. And I was like, that's really cool. And another way that I like to write is if I'm listening to a song and I like one little piece of it, I'm like, I'm going to rip that off like a little bit. Not like steal it, but like steal like the concept of what it's doing. And, you know, so I was like, oh, like a rhythmic piano line. That's cool. So I put it on like, it was like a low, like marimba synth. And I was just kind of like fucking around with it. And I loved the idea of it just like starting and just like being in it and being kind of like a jazzy kind of like a cabaret style thing. And then it kind of just grew into this monster of like suicidal ideation. And I latched onto the idea of like, as long as it makes you dance. And that's like, it's kind of a lot of what I've been trying to do with this project in the first place. You know, it's like I want the songs to be fun, and I want like people to be able to like shake their asses to it, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I do have something I want to say, and I do have things that I need to like process on my own. And I just remember like I was just like kind of singing, trying to figure out like the lyrics for the chorus. And like parading my misery was like a whole thing that I was like, this is great. This is like me being like melodramatic like all the time, which I acknowledge. You know, it's like I've acknowledged that about myself, and I think putting it into writing is way easier than like laying it on your friends.
Yeah.
You know. And I got to the end of it, and I said the like, as long as it makes you dance, and I just busted out laughing. And like on the demo, like I'm just like cracking up. I was like, this is like exactly what I am like trying to say here. And it like, that was another one. It just like came together pretty much all in one day.
Damn.
And then I like added the bridge and like the like key change part at the end, like a few days later. But I was so excited about that chorus. I was like, this is like a banger. Like this is like a club jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, so you said that it took you only roughly 6 hours to write the first single. Is that just how most of your songs flow, or was that just a one-off?
Every now and again, because I very intentionally try to write, you know, try to like exercise the creative muscle so that you don't like, you know, so you don't lose the practice of it, right?
Yeah.
And so not every song is like going to be like that, and it doesn't always happen. But the way that pretty much all of the songs that, you know, made it to the record are ones that I wrote in like one day, which is like very strange. It usually like, you know, if I'm in like a fit of emotion, I'm just like, I gotta sit down, I gotta like get this out right now. And usually if you ride that wave until it's like eventual end, I find that like I always end up with a better product.
Yeah.
Like, not that like music is like a commodity or whatever, but I end up with like something that I enjoy a lot more when it's like concisely in the same headspace that I've been in while just like, you know, writing it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes
sense. So you spoke about having an album pretty much demoed out. Is there anything you could tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not team like, you know, tease the album or whatever like that. You know, I don't really care about all of that like industry bullshit. But yeah, no, I'm putting out a record at some point. I've been being in quarantine has actually been nice because I've been able to get a lot of recording done. Hoping to get it out maybe by the end of the year, but that may or may not happen. Yeah. It really just relies on me, and I don't know, as you know, self-producing and doing it all like at home. I am very particular about like, oh, I gotta make sure I'm having like a good vocal day to do this or whatever, you know. So sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes, you know, my house doesn't have AC, so sometimes it's just way too hot for me to want to sing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but yeah, putting out a record. It's called In Sickness and in Hell. Yeah, it's like 10 tracks.
Exciting.
That's really, a really cool name. Yeah,
thank you.
That's a
thank
sick
you.
Name. Oh
Funny enough, it was like I came up with the band name and the album name in the same day. I was like on tour. Is that 2 summers ago? No, it was last summer. Okay. Life is really weird. Last summer I was on tour and with a band called Caving, and I was like driving and we were just like talking about like, you know, cool names for things or whatever, and I was like, oh, I've always wanted to like call something like Get Tuff. And at the time this project was called Sleep School, which was like a stupid thing that I was like, I need to put stuff on Bandcamp, like here's a name. And it's like, no, this actually I think works for it. And then In Sickness and in Hell popped in my head, and I was just like, that is like, I don't know, I love kind of like flipping the script on like a cliche, you know. I think that's really fun, and it like really, I think it really embodies like what the record at its core is about, which is, you know, about like recovery and like, you know, trying to do your best even in like your darkest moments.
Oh yeah. So we've already spoken about Hayley Williams and Taylor Swift, but other than that, do you think you can hear any artists' influences in your music? if any?
That is a difficult question, because I feel like a lot of people have trouble, like knowing what they sound like, right?
Yeah.
I like know who I'm inspired by, and it's like, you know, Hayley Williams, even though she wasn't like her music wasn't an inspiration for these songs themselves, like she has grown to be an inspiration for like my further writing, which is fun. And I definitely like hear that, which is like kind of funny. And definitely like, I don't know, like Lorde and Poppy, who I love. I definitely tried to like Poppy does that kind of like glitchy thing, and I really love like that, doing like vocal chops and like making things like a little bit creepy, like a little bit nightmarish. I think someone else told me that the beat on Ragdoll sounds like a Drake song, which I was like, what are you even talking about?
I couldn't hear that, but
yeah, I couldn't hear it either. And also like that guy sucks.
Oh my god. Well, okay.
Glory's trying to keep it back.
No. Drake as an artist, great. Drake as a person,
okay.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Purity Ring, I think, is the one too that I've heard from a lot of people, and that's another band that I love. So I enjoy that comparison.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So where do you see the project in the next 5 years?
Well, if I'm being honest, I see the world on fire in like 2.
Okay.
So
good point.
Okay. Awesome.
So I don't know. I think aspirationally speaking, it would be fun to, you know, have this current record I'm doing out and maybe another one or maybe another one. I have a lot of songs, you know, like I don't really it's hard to talk about the future because it's like especially at this time where everything feels so stagnant, and I don't really know like what the future of like music, especially as like a touring musician, I don't know what that looks like now. But, you know, aspirationally, I think I would like to put out some records and go on tour. Really just like play shows and like grow. I'd like to, you know, kind of like fall into like the identity of the project, you know, kind of have like a character that's like, that's kind of, I think, the fun part of being a pop star, you know? So I think that's really it. I just want to grow and like keep writing songs and having fun.
Yeah, makes sense. Awesome. So for the last couple questions, we're gonna go away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
The drink?
With a drink.
Okay. My last meal. God, that is a big question. Because I love food.
Food's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. I think it would either be like a really good like bowl of ramen with like a soft boiled egg in it. Or like a smothered burrito.
Okay.
Ooh.
I think either of those would be like a good last meal.
All right.
And for a drink, this is terrible. My brain says Baja Blast and tequila.
Oh my god! Wait, is that a thing?
I mean, anything's a thing if you mix them together.
You got a point.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. I will clarify that.
So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Fictional world? Does actually living on my Animal Crossing island count?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'd do.
Okay.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
It's so pleasant.
Yeah.
It is so pleasant, and all of my villagers are so nice to me.
Aw. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Awesome. So I have the honor of asking the last question, and everybody we've spoken to has said it's the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Orange.
Orange?
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Do you have like a specific shade? Do you have like dark orange, maybe like an actual like oranges in the fruit orange, maybe like a pastel type?
1 second.
Okay.
Oh, we're getting a demonstration here.
Ooh.
Peach orange, like these shorts.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's a shade.
I have like 5 things that are that exact shade of orange, and it's my favorite.
All right.
That's
You'll have to
wonderful.
see it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as Glory said, that's all the questions we have for you today. Is there anything
Oh.
you'd like to plug?
I'm here. Listen to the stuff on Spotify. There's going to be another single out probably here in a couple weeks. I'm very disorganized when it comes to these things. So follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, both Get Tuff, Stay Tuff. And that's where I'll actually tell you if anything's happening. Right now, I'm just kicking it.
All right.
Solid.
So thank you for sitting down with us. This has been
Yeah,
Get
thank
Tuff,
you for having me.
and we're the Good Noise Podcast.